step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood so I am relentless.
All right, welcome to the Keep Hammering Collective. I'm here with the legend, Des Linden. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me. I was thinking about legend. I don't know if that's the right word.
I think so.
But I'll take it. Thanks.
I think so. Oh, God, I meant to bring out your book. So, I mean, I'll just say I've been a fan, followed you, didn't really know you at all, hadn't met or anything like that. And then, of course, your Boston Marathon performance, everybody, it was a big deal, I think. I just remember, you won, tough conditions, and you just kind of grinded it out and got the win. Is that how it happened?
A little bit.
I mean, so not even just that, but you've been a two-time Olympian.
Yep.
You came out here, you broke the world, or you set the world record running a 50K in 2:59, still stands.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been, I don't know, I saw a lot of people meet you today, or not today, but this last couple days. And yeah, I said legend, but I heard a lot of other people say, you're their inspiration, or, all that you've added to their life, basically. And I may have even heard legend a few times. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people do look up to you. And I mean, how does that feel?
Oh, it's a great spot to be in. I mean, I think, I don't think about perception or any outside things that you're trying to achieve, except just doing the job.
Yeah.
So it's results and accolades are not the primary focus. It's process. But, in doing that job, if you become good enough at it that people recognize you for it, that's a great thing to have happen.
Feels good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. You're just going to work.
Well, yeah, it's like a very simple profession. I just go straight forward. That's it. So when you say legend, it's like, I go straight forward very well.
But to do that at the pace you do, it's, there's some pain, sacrifice. There's a lot involved in that. It sounds simple.
Sure.
It sounds very simple. Yeah. You make it sound even more simple than it is usually, or actually, but man, it's, so I'm curious, we listed why people know who you are, but how did that start? I mean, how did you said you played soccer early in life. When did you realize you had this crazy endurance?
Yeah, I think I was always trying to stay fit for soccer. You'll probably see the weightlifting portion and realize I'm not that strong and I'm not that big. So I realized that during soccer, and my tactic was, get to the ball first and get it off my foot as quickly as possible, or else impending death. That was my soccer career.
It can get physical out there, can't it?
It can real quick. And so the longer I was in soccer, I was staying fit for it anyhow. And then I realized there's probably a better sport, found distance running, cross country, and track and field. And it seemed like I was a natural. But when you look back at it with perspective, it's like, well, I've been training with soccer. It was just not focused. Like I'm a runner and I'm doing distance runs. It was like I was playing another sport that required endurance.
Yeah. And when you say you realized, like in soccer, you had to be more fit, how did you train then to be fit?
I mean, just fitness runs with the team. I was always good at those. It's when you're doing the lines back and forth on the field, laps around the field. And then, I was playing sports in the off season too. And that was softball for a while, which I always found too boring.
Yeah.
I don't really stay in shape doing that. So, yeah.
And then what else? Anything besides soccer and softball?
I think that was it. I remember being really young and my mom putting me in dance. It was like mom's goal. And dad was like, nope, T-ball, co-ed T-ball. Okay, dad wins.
Yeah. And that was, where'd you grow? Oh, in California.
Yeah, Southern California.
Okay. Yep. So then when did you start cross country and track and all that?
Had to be about middle school. Yeah, so I played softball for a bit and just realized that, it was a little bit too slow paced for me, and found track and field and cross country. And my dad was someone who was like, hey, you're not going to sit at home and do nothing and play video games and watch TV. Like, you don't have to do softball, but you have to find something else.
Yeah.
And so we found a track club together, and that was, I talked about it a little in my book, but it was like the first sport that was mine. Like I found it and I picked it and I was like, I want to join a track team. So there's a lot of ownership to that.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And did your dad think you'd be good at it? I mean, I assume like, we always had the middle school mile type thing. Mm-hmm. Like you'd run a mile with everybody else and whoever got the fastest time. Did you guys do that?
Yeah. Yeah. But I was pretty much a natural. Like it seemed like it again, but when you're doing all the other sports, you just have a little bit more in the bank.
Right. Yeah. And then did success come quick in track and cross country?
It did. Yeah. I think I just kind of had that jump on everyone. And my dad was someone who, he taught us how to work really hard at a very young age. So in soccer, if I was, getting pushed off the ball or not physical enough, it was like, well, what are you going to do to fix that? Like, how can you? And that's how I developed this tactic of being the quickest to the ball, get it off the foot the fastest. And so when I went to track, it was like, I was good, but now we got to get better competition so that we make sure you understand how to improve and keep putting in work so you can stay good. Mm-hmm. So that was something we figured out right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how did that work? Like who'd you find to run against?
Ironically, when I started out, I was on a track club that was mostly sprinters, but they were a really high level sprint group. And the coach was Adam Henderson. His daughter was Monique Henderson, who made the 400 meter relay pool as like a high schooler, so they understood where high end competition was.
Right.
And when they saw me doing pretty well locally, they're like, okay, we got to start finding better races and putting you into the right things. So it was a little bit of luck in finding the right coach who was also going to, he understood high achievement and wanted to push you as well.
Get to the next level. Yeah. And, so, I mean, was there state championships in your high school? Like, how did you know where you ranked as far as runners?
Yeah, at the middle school level, it was like you did club, so you could make junior nationals and like see how you stacked up nationally.
Yeah.
And then in high school, California and cross country is split into divisions. I did pretty well my freshman year. I was, runner up at the state meet.
Okay.
At that time, no other California
in cross country?
Yeah.
Okay.
Female had won, 4 state championships. So like freshman to senior year, no one had done it.
Yeah.
And I was runner up my freshman year. So I was like, okay, I'm doing all right. But there's always a next level,
How much did you get beat by in that race?
I think it was 8 seconds.
8 seconds.
Not that I think about it ever. Not that I remember it.
I know people who are competitive never forget shit like that. It's just not how it works. But yeah, I was like, because you said nobody has won 4. I'm going to guess you won 3 after that. Did you?
Never won 1.
What?
No.
How?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just, you almost psych yourself out, right? Like, I think it's an interesting thing where you can lose and realize it's okay. Mm-hmm. And then you learn to lose instead of just being like, no, I win.
Yeah.
So there's a mentality shift. I also think females just in general in high school are changing a lot.
Yeah.
I was still playing soccer at that time, so balancing a lot of different things.
Right.
I didn't realize how to full-time train for a long time. Mm-hmm. So.
Did your times get quicker over the years?
They did. Yeah. I think I stalled out maybe sophomore year. I also had 3 different coaches over 4 years. So consistency is always nice, but it wasn't there.
Makes it tough. I know, I made my son run, whatever. Talk about that a lot. But his freshman year, he was I think he was faster than he was the whole rest of it. Because he was little, he was tiny. But he made the state meet as a freshman.
That's cool.
Definitely wasn't runner up. But he was tiny. Then he got bigger and just couldn't perform. I mean, also he didn't want to run. He wanted to lift weights. But yeah.
So might be why he got bigger.
Yeah. And so I understand how your body is changing. That was the point I was trying to relate to. But yeah, it's just interesting. But then also, as you said that, how are you looking at it mentally? Are you out there going, I'm going to win. I don't care what anybody else does. Or as you said, I did my best, and I got beat. And so, yeah, it's hard. It's hard getting that edge,
Yeah.
you know, like developing that I'm going to win at all costs. When you got that, obviously, when did that happen?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I had that at a young age, and then you realize how big the world is.
Yeah.
And you get in that first race, and everyone's like, "Oh, she's ranked number 1 in the country, so don't worry if you lose to her."
Yeah.
And that's such a bad lesson.
Yeah.
You know, I wish people didn't necessarily say like how you approach that is important. But even as I got into the pro ranks, I think it took me a long time to believe that I could win. But even at that point, it was never like I expect to win. Like it's really rare to win a pro race.
Yeah.
And I think I've maybe won 2 or 3 in my career, but some big ones.
Yeah. I mean, well, besides Boston, was that 2017?
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
So what are the other wins?
This is a good one. The Emerald Nuts New Year's Eve race in New York City.
Yeah.
The big, I don't know if you know that. If
I
you've
don't.
seen the medal.
No. Is it nuts?
It's the big sponsor was Emerald Nuts.
Oh, okay.
But it's a New Year's Eve race in Central Park. It's a 4-miler. Had the course record.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then a couple of track races, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, not
And
many.
then Boston.
And then Boston, yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it is a good point. That's how competitive and how big the world is. There's, it doesn't take much to have enough gear to run. You need shoes. So you're going to get pretty much, there's no barrier to entry. So to win against the entire world, essentially, difficult.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. And that's super interesting. So even as hard as it, but you've went from that to running for the U.S. Olympic team twice, in the marathon. I don't know. It's crazy. I think that puts it in context how tough it is.
I think there was a big mentality shift for me in 2011. And I think that's a big part of my story is, everything was kind of coming together. I was a young pro. I was hungry and like I was on the right trajectory and I believed in myself. Like that was the moment I believed I could win. And then I started to see the work that really matched up. I went to 2011 Boston and said that out loud. And most of the running world was like, you're fucking crazy, right?
You were saying you could win?
Yeah. And they were like, there's nothing on your resume that shows that.
Yeah.
And then I won that race and put it all together. I didn't win, but I was second by 2 seconds. So we're coming down Boylston, about 600 meters left.
Yeah.
Not that I think about it a lot. And I think we changed leads 2 to 3 times on that stretch. And I got outkicked by 2 seconds. And it was like, oh, I can win.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get it that day.
Right.
But the mentality then went back to like, not I expect to win, but I can win.
Yeah, you proved to yourself that you weren't just talking shit and nobody, everybody else was discounting it, but you proved it right there. So yeah, that was the big shift, huh? Because you
competed a lot. Yeah.
What was the conditions like that day?
It was the best day in Boston Marathon history. It was the tailwind year, and people will tell you different numbers of how fast that wind was going. I think it was 12 miles per hour at the start.
Really?
But it's point to point course, so we had a nice little boost, and everyone ran fast. But I crossed the finish line, and someone asked me to sign a pair of shoes or something. Like, hey, put your time down there, and I had no clue what it was because all I wanted was to break the tape.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had to look it up. I was like, oh, that was fast.
What was it?
It was 2:22.
Whoa.
38. Something like that.
That is fast.
Yeah.
Is that your fastest?
It's still my fastest, yeah.
Jeez, that's a fast marathon.
It's a good one.
Wow. That's pretty sick. So our friend Ken Rideout told me I need to hear the story of your Boston win. So yeah, tell me, he said, did he say the backstory too? I can't remember what, but there's got to be some.
He might have said, did he say the bathroom story?
Oh,
there's a lot of stories.
Yeah,
Check it out.
Yeah. Well, let me see what he said. Ken, I had Ken Rideout on here and a great guy. How do you know him?
He has been a friend for a long time now. He was on the triathlon team with my husband.
Okay.
Yeah, him and Rob were both on the same team, and so I got to know those guys way back when.
And so your husband does triathlon then?
He dabbles, not so much anymore. He's a biker now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Get her to tell you the detailed story about how she won Boston in 2018. The details backstory are incredible. That's what he said.
Okay.
Okay. So let's hear it.
There is a bathroom story, so I'll give you that
You
too.
can put that in there too.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, I'm going to plug my book. Check out Choosing to Run, because it's way more comprehensive and eloquently done. But it was, I think the 11 story kind of factors in. And then I went back to Boston a number of times and was fourth, seventh, always in the hunt, but could never get it done. And in 2017, I was like, this is my year for sure. Gonna win it. Probably the fittest I had ever been, and finished fourth, but like just a distant fourth, and I felt like that was my last real opportunity to try and win the race. And so I felt like I was just kind of complacent and, going through the motions in preparation for 2018. And there was a lot of health stuff going on. I switched my coaching circumstances and really went into the race thinking that maybe I'd go halfway and drop out and call it a career,
Wow.
And then we started getting these weather reports. It was just going to be the worst weather in Boston Marathon history, freezing cold. I think it was 39, 40, 42 max, super strong winds, headwinds the whole way, and pouring rain, like monsoon type rain. So when you're looking at that and you're getting ready for the marathon, you're like, maybe I'll just do a different race, like you kind of want to change your plans.
Yeah.
And, my husband was like, hey, this is made for you. Like, you know how to run in these conditions. We trained in Northern Michigan. Kind of had like hemmed and hawed about it, because I was just like, the training didn't go great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. And then the next day got on the line and really just saw how it was in everyone's head.
The weather.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you get into something difficult and, you can count yourself out before it even starts, and you could almost see it on folks' face. But there was also the kind of the side where I didn't quite have the training I would have loved to have. So I was still trying to keep, my goals realistic. So the first several miles were all grouped up. No one's really interested in pushing the pace into a headwind for a long time.
Pretty comfortable, slow pace.
Very, it's like everyone's there.
Everybody's like
tripping
like
on,
a shitty day at work.
Basically.
Yeah, you're just like, God, this sucks.
What's the quickest way to get back? Is it an Uber or is it running?
Yeah.
So we're grouped up, and one of the there was really good American field. So Shalane Flanagan was in the group, and I was like, if I'm not going to really go all out today, maybe I can help someone else out, and then I can drop out at halfway and I'll feel good about it. So I tapped her on the shoulder. I was like, hey, if you need anything today, let me know. Like, I blocked the wind, whatever. She was like, are you okay? It's fine. Kept running. Group's still pretty together through halfway, and she comes and finds me in the pack. She taps me on the shoulder. She said, I have to use the bathroom. Do you think I can stop? And normally that's just a terrible race strategy.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to lose a ton of time.
Yeah.
But we were running so slow. I was like, I'll just go to the front and make sure it stays slow, and you can try and catch up slowly or whatever you want to do. She's like, okay. She takes off, uses the restroom. A lot of people clocked it really fast, 13 seconds.
Yeah.
But in that, short amount of time, the group sees this heavily favored person for the race to win it. She had just won New York Marathon the fall before.
Okay.
And so they go, this is where we make the move.
Right.
And it strings out, and it's off to the races. I had told her I would hold up the pack, and I had clearly failed. So I'm like, I gotta drop back and help her close up the gap. So we worked together, regrouped over like a mile and a half. And
how do you help? Like, how do you help somebody?
I think, in that type of situation, the best thing you can do is cut a move in half. So if there's a big surge, you can't make it all up at once. So I split between the back of the pack halfway, and then she's catching me, and then we work together for the second half.
Okay.
So we make our way back up, and it was the first time the whole race where I felt pretty good. You know, like it felt natural running that pace. I got a little bit warmer. And from there, like maybe a mile or two later, another American woman was on the front. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it's so windy. I'm going to go block the wind for her as long as I can. And then, you know, then the Americans will have a better shot to try to win this thing. Go to the front and just out there leading, turn around, just take a peek and see if everyone's tucked in.
Yeah.
And I had strung it out completely. Like,
You didn't know you were going fast?
whoa.
Yeah.
It was this moment where I realized that everyone was suffering.
Yeah.
Right? And
They
was
didn't want to run fast.
No, and it was a matter of how you wanted to think about that suffering. Like, am I going to feel sorry for myself from here on in, or can I embrace this and use it to my advantage? And that was the first real moment where I started racing like I did in 11 and all of those years leading up to that race. And in that mentality shift, you know, I was being a competitor again instead of someone who was like, I feel bad and I feel tired and I feel cold, right? And then it was just years and years of knowledge that I already knew and had in the bank from running Boston so much that got me to the finish.
So what time or what place of the race was that where you looked back and you saw you had strung it out again?
It's right about 17. So you turn into the Newton Hills, and I, you know, take the look over as you head into the hills. And it was just like carnage behind me.
Yeah. And so you had all of a sudden a boost of confidence. And then you thought, did you turn it on then? Did you say, like, if I'm in the hills, I might think that if I push here, I could really open that up. Is that what you thought?
Yeah, I guess I left out a critical detail here.
Oh, okay.
2 women had gotten away.
Oh.
1 woman had gotten away.
Oh.
So it was a group of us catching her.
Oh, I see.
She slipped out of my mind. I forget her a lot because I won. So yeah, I'm catching. We're working together to kind of close that gap, which is why I made that surge.
Okay, yeah.
And so she's hanging out in front of us going into the hills, and this small pack that I'm with, one of the younger Kenyans, Gladys Cheshire, she was really aggressive and she really wanted to dictate the pace, and I could tell that she wanted to be in front of me. Like, that's how she was most comfortable. With all the wind, I was like, knock yourself out. Exactly. So she pushed a lot in the hills and I just kind of chased behind, and we slowly closed the gap up to the woman who was leading. I think it was Ethiopian, Mummy Tudaska. And we were just more patient with it. You know, we caught her about mile 22, and you could tell that it was a bad decision to go to the front when she did, and she was
hurting,
just glazed. You know the marathon glaze where you're not going to recover from it, and it's kind of, you're suffering home. So we both passed her around 21, 22, as we're exiting the hills, and I was right on Daska's or Cheshire's heels at that point, and I had a decision to make. It was like, do you let her keep leading all the way into Boston and just try to kick?
Because that didn't work before.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And I knew she wanted to be the aggressor, so I figured I would just test her. Like, let's go up and see if she responds again, then keep doing the same thing and letting her lead. But if you pass her and she doesn't respond, that tells me so much about her mentality.
Yeah, for sure.
So I went by her, put in like 5 hard steps, nothing.
Wasn't there.
Nothing. And you can't look back.
Yeah, no.
Like,
that's a tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was listening to the crowds and then running pretty afraid from there on in.
Yeah. And then you won.
I did.
And where was she behind you? How far?
So in 2011, I missed it by 2 seconds. I ran the last, 4 miles that day, completely afraid that someone was just going to hunt me down, catch me. got to the finish line. People always ask, when did you know you were going to win? I got to the finish line a couple steps out, and people are cheering, and they're announcing it. And I was like, okay, like I won. Second place was like 4 minutes behind me.
Whoa, you cry. Yeah, but I get that, because if I see somebody looking behind, like looking over their shoulder, I know they're thinking about, they must not be doing that great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if they're worried, if you're not worried about somebody behind you, you're running your own race, and it just sends that message to them that don't even bother.
Right.
Yeah. So that, and you spot on 4 minutes in the last 4 miles.
Yeah.
That's big.
There was a lot of folks that dropped out.
Yeah.
You know, I think the woman who had been in second, Gladys Cheshire, she actually got to mile 25 of the race.
And quit?
And dropped out.
What?
Which logistically, like walking in is quicker than getting any form of transportation. But I think it showed you how tough the day was. Like people were not, making rational decisions.
Yeah, I guess I would understand that. They just don't want to take another step.
Yeah.
I'm so done with this. I don't care if it's only a mile.
You're just like, once you bonk in a race like that, I think hypothermia was a real thing too. Like you slow down enough and your core temperature drops and just all downhill. So a lot of dropouts. How
do you think people's feet were getting torn up? Because, your feet get wet, they get soft. I mean, were your feet okay?
A lot of blisters.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of blisters, yeah.
So that, even stuff like that affects people.
Yeah.
When you're used to having dry, especially if you're training in Africa, if you are, you're not wet. I mean, it barely rains over there. So it's it's just a lot of little things can add up. And then if your feet start getting blisters and you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
This sucks.
I think when hope is kind of gone, like you have this goal, this thing you've been thinking about for months and months and preparing for, and you see it slip away, you lose a little bit of hope, and then you start to focus on every little thing. A tiny blister on your foot feels like it's about to fall off. So it changes things dramatically.
Yeah. I put my body through a lot. I've found that Ketone IQ has helped give me an edge when I'm running. I actually won my latest ultra and made sure I had some ketones to take throughout the race. I'm already drinking so much caffeine in a day. I really like that ketones provide a clean energy with no sugar or added caffeine. Ketones provide a ton of benefits to the body, the biggest being cognitive function. So I even down a shot before I podcast, and I feel like it helps me think more clearly. I'm all for anything that makes me smarter, because the guests I have on here are top performers in their field, and I need all the help I can get. Ketone IQ is giving listeners of this podcast a great deal. They're offering you 30% off your first subscription order of Ketone IQ at ketone.com/cam. Montana Knife Company was founded by Josh Smith, one of the world's most experienced master bladesmiths. Josh has been making knives for 30 years, and there's something really special in supporting companies that are made in the USA. The blades are manufactured and shipping straight from Montana. Montana knives carry a multi-generational warranty and free lifetime sharpening. They're designed, tested, and built by hunters. MKC is a hunting knife company first and foremost. MKC is unmatched and have the sharpest knives out of the box and the easiest knives to sharpen. It's been really fun to watch a company explode as one of the fastest growing companies in the knife space. Don't be fooled. They're still a small company and just hired their 55th employee and are looking to hire about 50 more in the next year or so. So if you live in Montana, tell them Cam sent you. MKC knives sell out within minutes of being released. So head over to montanaknifecompany.com. That is the best way to find out when they have knives available. Use code CAM10 for 10% off your first order. My favorite blade is a Blackfoot 2.0. Montana Knife Company, working knives for working people. Yeah, how did that feel to break the tape at Boston?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was a lot of swings and misses. But it was really special because it was a difficult race. And I think I've always been, someone who was gritty. I didn't have the big signature win. I never won the state title, never won an NCAA's, didn't get the big pro contract. So to have that big of a race, to have a moment like that was really, really cool. And to just use so many lessons from my career on one single day and pull them all together and have that help me get the job done was so rewarding.
Yeah. I mean, what an incredible moment. I mean, yeah, it seemed like it also validated a lot for you.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
because you said you had been the bridesmaid, not really the bride, so many times, and then now all of a sudden, the biggest marathon in the world, and you won it.
Yeah.
I mean, incredible.
Yeah. It's full circle from 2011 to get it right down Boylston and get that moment was awesome.
Yeah, I bet. And then I assume, well, I don't know, but what did that do? Did your life change after that? Did everything change or what, how was it different?
For me, I mean, obviously validation in my career path. So that was huge. And then just being a lot busier. So that was certainly a component of that for sure. I think it becomes a shift or at least a turning point in a career where it's like, what do you prioritize? You making sure you're training to win the big race, or do you take this moment and capitalize on what you did?
Right.
And what do you prioritize, training or appearance and so there's a lot of things that you don't think are ever going to factor in your career that kind of came into play. But yeah, I mean, it was a great moment to get the recognition for hard work, because you don't always have the result that shows what you've put in, right?
Yeah, no arguing that one for sure. I get that. I would think that like a Conor McGregor type person would come across the line and be like, doubt me now. Did you do that?
No, it's too cold. I sort of wish it were a nicer day so that you could
have
just
done that?
celebrate a little longer, you know?
Would you talk a little shit?
Probably. I was in the right headspace to do that. That's awesome. For sure.
Yeah, you just out battled everyone. Yeah. So yeah, you were like a fighter getting a knockout or something probably. Yeah, I mean, what an amazing experience, because I know I've done it 3 times. You've done it way more than that, but I just know how that feels coming around that corner. Then you got the straight stretch there. Yeah. That probably was, and you never looked over your shoulder then even?
No, I'm terrified, like especially not there.
Because what if you'd have looked and she would have been right there? Oh.
You know, I absolutely thought about that. And coming into the late stages, you do the right on Hereford and the left on Boylston. And this is how strategic I was and how unaware of the gap I was. I was thinking like, okay, I've no one's caught me yet. So that means they have to be running, 10 to 15 seconds a mile faster to have closed that gap. Mm-hmm. And that's going to wear on their legs. So
yeah, for the sprint,
I've got enough for a sprint. Like that's where I was at coming down Boylston. Like, let's go. Like I can fight someone off right now.
Do you think about it? Because what I would think about is like, if I was worried about somebody behind me, I'd take that corner tight so I'd be out of sight as fast as possible, then turn it on.
Yeah.
Like, do you think about stuff like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very strategic. Yeah.
Okay. Because then like that'd be a couple more steps if they didn't know you dug into that turn.
You got to take like 5-10 quick steps off that turn. Mm-hmm. Make the gap look bigger.
Yep. Break them a little bit, hopefully. Mm-hmm. Okay. I didn't know if that was just me being weird or.
No. Or maybe it's both of us being weird.
Yeah, that could be.
It's pretty common.
I'll have to go back on my records. I don't think I've won Boston.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, we're probably the same.
Age group? You got to be up there.
I don't think so. Okay. I don't know. It's a tough field.
Yeah.
Even for age groupers.
Yeah.
But it's such a special race. Yeah. I mean, I love that race. Just the crowds I don't know about that day. Crowds were probably watching on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
But like anytime I've been there, I've been pretty lucky. I guess in one year, it was cold and rainy and not like that, but must have been 20. When was the last one? I don't know. I started in a big camo jacket because I took it, because you have to wait at the start line forever. Or I do, riding the bus out there. So I had this big camo jacket and I ran with that for at least a mile. And my first mile was like 8:30. It's like so cold or whatever. And then somehow I broke 3, which for me was good.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But it was
was it 2007?
No, because my first year was 2008.
15.
That one with Lance. Yeah, 15. It must have been. Yeah. Because I was going to say 14 or 15, but 15 was pretty nasty. Yeah. Seemed like.
Did that one.
Did you?
Yeah. 7 was bad. That was the nor'easter. The only time they've considered canceling it. Mm. And then 15 was a rainy one.
Yeah, that's the one it was. But still got in there. I think I did think 2:59, but whatever.
That's moving. With the headwind too?
Yeah. It's, you know, I talked about this every time I do like a marathon, there's times during it where I'm like, I'm never doing this shit again. It just sucks. But then you go finish and think about how
So
sweet
fun.
it was. Yeah. And it's that atmosphere, just being there. You know, you don't want to be on your feet, but there's so much walking around and just hanging out. Cool.
It's a bit of a reunion for the running community, you know, and you get it in the spring after you've kind of paid your dues all winter.
Yeah.
You get a nice day and you're like, okay, this is enjoyable.
Yeah. And I think I went to the baseball game the night before. Nice. That was fun. There's so much going on. And then Patriots Day. So I don't think there's school, is there?
No, it's holiday in Boston, so everyone comes out.
Yeah.
All the schools go out and drink all day. Yeah. It's a great time.
Yeah, no, good stuff. Well, yeah, I know. That's a lot of people when they think of Boston, they think of you. And yeah, I love hearing that story. I mean, of course, you did cover in your book. Great book, by the way. So get out there, get that book. But also just hearing you explain it is different. It's different than sitting on words. I like hearing the story from you. Pretty good.
No, it's great. I think that writing the book, I put it down and then I was like, okay, I can forget all of this. So I missed parts. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a book ago. It was a lifetime ago.
And now you're working on a new book.
Unannounced yet.
Oh, never mind. No, that was me. I'm working on a new book. That's what I meant.
Well, is that an announcement?
Yeah, I don't know if I've even mentioned that, but now since I did take the hit for you, I just announced it.
All good. Sorry.
No, that's all good. Yeah. So, but you also have a killer podcast. Tell me about that.
That's been really fun. It's called Nobody Asked Us with Des and Kara. And Kara Goucher is my co-host, and she was my competitor for a long time. Ran in the marathon when I did, but also a silver medalist at the 10,000 meters, the World Championships in 2007, I believe, and two-time Olympian. So fantastic athlete. We get on the pod and we just riff on all things running. So the sport, the broadcast, you know, the sponsorship side, anything that's interesting to us, we just dig into it and try to just uncover some of the things that are going on behind the scenes that maybe fans would be interested in, but don't have access to.
So nobody asked us like, well, we're just going to cover this anyway.
100%. No one wants our opinion, but we're going to tell you anyhow.
Yeah, I love that. And so it's been received well, I take it. I mean, you guys are very well known, obviously, in the running community. Did Kara get third in a marathon? Did I remember?
She was
like in her first marathon
in New York. Yeah,
was that her first one?
It was her debut. I think it was 2009 or 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and then she
good start.
Came back and had a great Boston as well. She had one of those stretches where there was 3 or 4 women on Boylston. I think she finished maybe 5 seconds out of the top 3. So, or she might have been third. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know. There is the running scene. I mean, as I was saying earlier, is like for athletes is either you're on, I don't know what, a commercial or a print ad. And then that's pretty much the only way these running companies could advertise their product. But now with the podcast, it's like this whole new medium, and they can get, you know, I know Brooks sponsors your podcast, so they can get coverage out there in a different way.
Yeah, it's been great finding partners that are a good fit, and we don't do ad reads yet. We've been approached by a couple platforms, but we kind of just try to find ways to integrate the products. And you know, Brooks is a natural fit. Both Kara and I are sponsored by the brand independently, and we just announced that partnership. So it's really cool to bring them on and get to talk about them even more.
Yeah. How they've been? Have you been with them the whole time?
I started running professionally in 2005 and started with Brooks right away.
Oh.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah, that's a long tenure with the same sponsor. That's pretty good. So they must be great sponsor, great support, which is, you know, proven in their help with the podcast. What has been like the most rewarding part of having that podcast and being able to tell these stories, and what's been the best part of it?
I think what's unique about it is Kara and I were competitors, and we were, on kind of competing brands. She ran for Nike for a while, and then switched to Oiselle, and I'm with Brooks. And, there's all these reasons that we shouldn't get along.
Yeah.
And we really didn't know each other all that well when we started it. We kind of came up with the concept on Twitter, which is so funny. So there's an element of it where we're getting to know each other, and you can really see it in the first few episodes. And so our friendship has grown, and we actually get along really well. And that part's been really cool. So it's
how did it start? If you didn't know each other, and then you're like, hey, we should do a podcast, even though I don't really know you that well.
We were both griping about the same thing on Twitter.
Oh,
we were talking.
Can you say what it was?
We were talking about the shoe technology.
Oh,
and just kind of going into a few things that were happening with sponsorships and athletes, and we pointed out some things that were troubling. And what happens is everyone, if you're an older athlete, everyone says, well, you're just old and bitter.
Yeah.
Like, you're just upset because you can't do what they're doing. And we kind of just joked, like, well, maybe we'll start a podcast called Old and Bitter and just get on there and gripe. But we went with nobody asked us. So.
Okay. Yeah. Did what's your thoughts on the new shoe technology? I didn't listen to the episode, but like, what is it? Like, how much has it changed everything?
It's dramatically, it's really a different sport. We were talking about it earlier. The women's world record is 2:11, 50 something, which is crazy. And when I started, Paula Radcliffe had it like 2:15 high, I think. And that was an outlier.
Yeah.
That was like, well, that's untouchable. So if you can run under 2:19, you can win just about anything. 2:19 now, you're maybe top 10.
Jeez.
I mean, top 10.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
And that's is it the carbon plate?
It's the blend, the foams and the plate. But I think, you can run quicker. It's easier to run quicker. You recover better, which means you can run quicker more often. And then there's the mentality of it too, where like
that edge.
Radcliffe's was an outlier. No one thought they could do it, so they didn't try. And now we don't know what's possible, so everyone's just, knocking it out of the park every time out and resetting the boundary, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's what I remember about Paula Radcliffe is her running form. Isn't she like her head everywhere?
Yeah, it doesn't look efficient or smooth. It's just gritty.
How can that work?
Right. I don't know. It's a mystery to me.
Yeah. Do you have shoes with carbon plate in them?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get in the game. It's adapt or die.
Well, I've seen, I don't know if it's real or not, but on Instagram, how they have a shoe and they bend it and it goes shooting off, and then they have one without a carbon plate and it goes like right there. Is that real?
I took one of my original racing flats. I think it was the shoe that I wore in 2016, just to kind of make a joke about it.
Yeah.
And it flopped over so sadly. It was like, oh, we were idiots.
Yeah.
Had we known.
And now, like your shoes now, would they
launch pretty far.
Really?
Yeah.
God. Yeah. So even if it didn't do anything, you'd have to be putting them on going, I'm going to freaking kill it today. I'm getting launched on every step.
Oh, the whole sensation's different. Yeah. I mean, and that's such a great thing. Like, as much as on the performance side, things have changed and you go, well, I don't know if I like it or not. The other side of it is they make running easier.
Yeah.
And if more people put on a shoe and think, wow, this isn't as hard as I thought, then more people can start running.
Yeah.
And whether that's performance or health and wellness or whatever it is, like, more people running is a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, we need more healthy people. I know that. So yeah, I get it. And I love putting on those sick running shoes. I mean, they're like, I don't know, $275. They're pretty expensive, but I wear, I think the Sauconys I have, the Endorphin Pros, don't they have it? I think so. Yeah. And then Emma has sent me some of the New Balance, and those have it, and it just feels freaking good.
Right.
Yeah.
Not beat up later or as beat up.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't as hard as I thought it was.
No. So I get it. But in the racing, do you think that confidence has come over to where girls are going out more aggressive because of that? Is that why the times are faster, probably?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's way more forgiving. I remember Mary Katani running New York in her debut and going out in course record pace. And it was like, she has no clue. She has no idea what's going to happen at mile 20.
Yeah.
And, they're peeling her off the road with a spatula at 20. Like, she's just running in peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
And now you get women going out in under 105 and they hold it together, 105 at the half. And like, they fall apart, but not as much. Like, you're not seeing that meltdown like you would in the past. So there's definitely something to testing that boundary and what's the most efficient way to cover the distance now and run fast.
Also, so speaking of performance, I had Andy Galpin on like the other day, and he was talking about something I never do, which is probably why I've never got faster. I think my last marathon was about the same time as my first marathon, but like your diet even 3 days before the marathon, and then like what the fuel you're taking during a marathon. I assume that part's very dialed in for you, that your bottles and whatever you're taking in calories wise during the run. How far in advance before the race are you dialing in your diet?
It's not super specific for me. Like, that's an area I could work on and get better at. Nutrition and running is a fascinating thing because I think runners are a lot are very type A, and they start to look at the numbers and perfection comes in, and I'm a little bit more fluid. So really simple rules, it's just adding more carbs, cutting out fiber, making sure you're hydrating. And those become more important in the days leading up to, and then having the right on-course nutrition is super important, and that's worked on the entire build-up. So it's little tweaks for me, and I think that approach is better for my mindset. Where if I had a really rigid routine, and then all of a sudden you can't find that pasta you normally eat, then you melt down.
Right.
And I don't want to be that person. So
no. I understand that. Yeah. What is your diet like generally?
Pretty simple.
Is
it? We my rules just try and avoid the bags and the boxes, and just eat real healthy food as much as possible. Stock those things in the fridge first.
Yeah.
But same type of thing where I think you can overthink it. And for me, I think one of the biggest problems would be not getting enough.
Right.
So I would rather have the wrong things but enough than under fuel because I couldn't get the perfect thing. Yeah. So
is it like meat, fruit, and then like complex carbs kind of?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that. Can you?
Right. It's just, and it's easy. It's simple. You stock it. It's there. Your snack is something healthy. So.
Yeah. One ingredient type that, apple, banana.
Right.
Deer, elk, bear.
Love it. We're big fishers.
Yeah, a lot of fish.
Yeah, a lot of fish.
Sweet. Yeah, that's so interesting. So, but during the race, how many calories do you take in, like in a marathon? Do you think? Or I'm sure you know.
I wouldn't know calories. I know I'll take 8 to 10 ounces of an electrolyte carb mix.
Okay.
I guess I would if I looked at the packet. I use Momentous mixture.
All right.
And take 8 to 10. The rule of thumb. Good Arizona State rule, drink early, drink often. And then as you get later into the race, it's a little like you can skimp here and there.
Right.
But you want to front load the nutrition on the race so that you're basically topping off your gas tank as you go.
And you don't know how many carbs are in that drink? It's just, you're just getting in fluid mostly, but also probably some salt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's enough carbs in those. It's some fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I'm always, I didn't take any. I think I took a ketone IQ in the marathon, then was glad I saw some gels, even though I hate gels. But, that little shot of carbs helps. Yeah. I mean, I think it's so difficult when you're getting the paper cup and it's spilling down the front of you. Like, I don't know how much I got in. So I try to get one swallow. Yeah. I put it and try to get one. The gel is, you're like, okay, I know what I've gotten in. Yeah. Right? Ketone IQ. Like, I got one bottle and we're good. You can have that if you want it. I might. Are you a caffeine person? Yeah, I am. That's a good hack for race day. I don't know if you mix caffeine in there. Yeah. Like in your hydration? A little late in the race if you're a caffeine user. Yeah. They do a lot of studies where
people hit the wall or kind of bonk, and or they have them run to failure is what it was. And on the treadmill, run to failure, and then test their muscles for a while to see how much fuel is left in them. They like basically simulate if there's still enough fuel in or any glycogen in the muscles by triggering them. And most people have like loads left of fuel, but the mind says, no, we're shutting down. And caffeine kind of just extends that, where you can still keep tapping into the fuel before the mind is like, we're done.
Well, us normies don't get caffeine options.
Well, now they're caffeinated.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because I don't remember a bunch of caffeine like in the little water cups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I didn't know that.
Caffeinated gels. No.
Okay. Okay. Sweet.
Yeah.
I just need that now. That's gonna help.
Just saying. Plus, if you're a caffeine drinker, like I can't go a couple hours without having a coffee. So
Me neither.
I'm on course. I'm like, I could use some caffeine. Right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. All right. Well, Andy tried to tell me that if I got my diet dialed in 3 days before and then race nutrition, he goes, you could take 10 minutes off your marathon. I was like, 10 minutes? 10 minutes is a lot.
I mean, I think on-course nutrition alone could help with a lot of time.
Man, okay. Maybe I'll qualify for the Olympics. I only got to get down to 217 for the trials. It's not bad.
You start now.
That's only like
4 years.
40 minutes off.
10 minutes a year, you're on your way.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, so speaking of racing and competition, so the reason why you're here is the Olympic trials.
Yeah.
So you came out just as a fan or just sponsor obligations, or how did that work?
A little bit of work for Brooks.
Okay.
We did a live podcast. There's this runner space house out in Eugene, I guess, and cool spot. We did a podcast out there from a pontoon boat. We had some pyrotechnic things like sparklers going off.
Cool.
It was great. And then led some group runs and watched the Brooks athletes compete, which they did great.
You did. Where'd you do the group runs? On Priest Trail?
Yep. Yeah, we would meet. Brooks had a little setup downtown at the Nest. Meet there and then head over to Priest Trails and
Just get like a handful of miles or something?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, but man, the competition, how sick was that? What do you think was, out of all the events, what was your favorite?
That's an impossible
I
question.
know. Okay. Oh, how
Let's
about
see.
top three?
Okay. Fresh on the mind, women's 15.
Oh man, it's
Unreal.
crazy.
The times were just out of this world, and we're sending an amazing team. Women's 800, for a variety of reasons. Like, that's just the drama of the trials.
Yeah.
You have the favorite, Athing Mo, defending gold medalist in the event, and she takes a spill early in the race. Our system is brutally fair. It's
Can you be too fair?
maybe, but I don't know. I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, I wouldn't want someone in a room deciding who's good enough or who isn't. Like, let's self-select. And that is an example of how it can leave a really great person on the outside. But the women who did make it performed under pressure, managed their tactics right, and raced really well. So it's a great team.
Yeah.
Third race, I would go with the men's 15. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, so fast again.
Great squad too.
I mean, Cole Hawker running 3:30.
Right.
So
Looking
fast.
smooth.
And I said at that party over at the Run Space house, or Runner Space, whatever it is, he said he ran 2 seconds for his PR by 2 seconds. It's like 3:32 and got sixth. It's like, that is so fast. And that got you sixth. It's almost like the women's 1500 where Corey McGee, she's running faster than she ever ran and got fifth or sixth.
Right.
It's like these times are just insane.
It was, and it's such a funny thing about the trials because it's like you have to be ready on the day, you have to know how to perform, and then you look in the depth. Okay, you have your top three, they did it, they performed on the day, but everyone else is too. It's just you have to be able to be at a whole new level.
Yeah. And not, have that, like, defending gold medalists not going back. And I saw there were some appeals. I think that's just a natural thing that they try to appeal to the results, I guess, but got denied.
Yes.
I mean, it's just racing.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
There was nothing there. I mean, if anything, a couple folks in the race that were behind her were more impeded by her spill.
Right.
But
could she have got up and kept going, or did she try?
she did. She actually finished, which I
Okay.
bravo to her.
Yeah,
Like, she had every
I didn't
reason.
see that race.
Yeah,
I think I was doing a movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but what happened? So she fell and then caught back up.
She fell hard and was basically just a little too far out of it. She put in a big surge to try to close it down, and it just bites you. Too much of an effort to try to close it up that quick. It's such a short race.
In a short race, yeah, just not enough time.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
You should go back and watch it. It's worth.
I'm going to.
It's worth it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to. I get home, I go to the track meet when I've been home, and then go back and I watch the broadcast, but then go to YouTube and watch those. So I'm like, I love the big track meets.
It's great.
It's
I think
so
we
fun.
need all the fans we can get, and I think folks like you and Andrew and anyone who has a big platform that's talking about track athletes. It's great for the sport.
Yeah, we were there. I mean, Andrew Huberman got me a ticket to sit with them down. Best, I don't even know how you can get better seats.
You were like in lane 3.
Yeah, we were right by that camera that comes by at like 100 miles an hour. Yeah, I'm like, if that thing hits my arm, it's going to take it off. But yeah, great. And then Grant Fisher came around as, they do the victory lap. And then he was like hitting people's hands. Then he stops and he's like, looks at Andrew and he shakes his hand. He's like, love your stuff type thing. So
Stanford.
yeah. Oh, did Grant go to Stanford?
He did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, there's a lot of people who recognize Andrew there. And then he put up a post last night talking about running, and, he runs, and then Rob Moore, his partner, runs. Great. Actually good. You went running with Rob.
Rob got a lot of mileage in.
Did he?
Yeah, he's getting ready for a big event. Is what I hear.
Oh,
Stay
okay.
tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah, he's fast.
He is.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, just to see. I think Snoop Dogg was there. That was kind of cool. Was there any other stars there? I remember one time Travis Scott was there.
Oh, really?
Maybe that was at the World Championships. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it's cool seeing people outside the community taking such an interest in track.
The ratings were great, and a lot of people were like, was it Snoop or was it track and field?
Yeah.
So coincidence, I don't know, but
I heard yesterday that 33 personal bests were set at that meet. So
wow.
that had to, so you're making compelling TV, like history, essentially, on the track. It should get a lot of viewers.
Yeah.
But
Deserves to.
But what should get viewers doesn't always. So I'm
Fact.
glad I'm glad this did, because it was such an incredible. And then Sydney McLaughlin on last night setting another world record.
Right. They're gonna close off like cherry on the top.
Last event
Perfect.
of the meet.
Perfect.
And just yeah, I was saying I don't see how it could have went any better.
That might have, arguably was like a 2-hour program. Best 2 hours of track and field, at least ever in America.
Yeah.
Really great, like across the board. Exciting stuff.
And I forgot, I'm wearing Cole Hawker's t-shirt. So we were respect to all the competitors, but we were pulling for Cole last night in the 5,000, and we had a shirt we're getting ready to wear. Me, Andrew, Rob is going to be sick. Other competitors had different ideas.
That was a tough race.
That was.
He had a lot of miles on his legs too.
Yeah.
15 rounds, and then you do the heat, the qualifying of the 5,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work for one guy.
Yeah, I agree. And he's like, but I was like so optimistic because he's been on such this tear and at such a high level, and then he popped that 330 at the to win the 15. I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna win the 5 too. So it's tough though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But honestly, how about those two guys, the two collegiates kicking late in that race?
That North
just
Carolina kid.
going bananas, you know.
That was so fun to watch.
800 out and they look like they're in a full sprint. Like they can't possibly keep this up. And then they find another gear.
I know. And that kid, he was on the track for a while,
Yeah.
the North Carolina. I think he got third. He's going to the Olympics.
Yeah,
I mean, how insane is that?
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I loved it. But you can't help, when the whole stadium, you feel the energy of everything. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to be on the screen, or I mean, on the track. But I see them coming and they're looking at the screen, checking to see where the rudders. But then hearing on the home stretch there, that the crowd must just be incredible.
Pretty special. I try not to do a ton of track, but back in the day, I mean, running at Hayward was always magical. There's just so much history there.
Yeah.
And anytime you get to race in an area in a city where the spectators can comprehend what's going on and know when there's a magical moment happening, you can feel it differently as a competitor. You know, like in Boston, the fans get it. They know what they're watching. They appreciate it. In Eugene, same thing.
Did you race on Hayward before?
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what events was that?
I've done 5s and 10s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. Did trials in 2008 in the 10,000.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's fun.
How did that go?
Not great.
What
I'm a marathoner now.
What took to qualify for the 10,000 trials?
I feel like for this year, the A standard was like 32:35 or
Yeah.
32:30. Back then, it was
fast as
probably like 33:20.
Yeah. Still fast.
Still pretty quick.
Very fast. But you got it.
Got in.
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
It was great. Running in Olympic trials never gets old.
No.
And, you know, I'm later on in my career, but it's still a thing like, well, maybe if I could make a trials, that would be fun. You know, not on the track,
Yeah.
but in the marathon.
And you made it this year.
I did. Yeah, I did my fifth. So
Fifth trials?
2008, I did the marathon. 12, 16, I made the teams. 20, I was fourth. And then this year I was 11th.
Yeah.
So some good experience.
But how many trials did you just say? 5?
Yeah,
That's insane.
I'm old.
That is so much. What did it take to make the trials and marathon this year?
I think it was 2:35.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's reasonable.
Yeah.
It's doable.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe one more than me.
I think you got another one. I think you do. Yeah. I don't know. You don't never want to call it a career, but what a career it's been up to this point. You know, it's just amazing story. You're still competing. You got a lot of thoughts you like to share. That's good. It's got a lot of wisdom you can share. And I just like the great stories. But today we did the lift, run, shoot. Tell me about your thoughts on shooting a bow.
That was great. I feel like I have a new habit that has entered my life because that was a lot of fun. It's something my husband Ryan does.
Yeah.
And he'll come back from a run and stand in the yard and shoot for like 10 to 15 minutes. You know, he's getting ready for deer season. He's going to have to share the target now. There'll probably be some sort of competition involved because that's kind of just what we do.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I think it's, we were talking about it on the drive over. It's very zen, right?
Yeah.
You have to focus on the process and the movements, and you can't be thinking about the email you forgot to send or the last mile of the workout that went poorly. Like you're in that moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, you shooting right out of the gate, even though you never shot a bow before. I mean, you were accurate almost from the get-go. Are you just a naturally good shot? You shot rifles before or what?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We do bird. We have 2 bird dogs, so shot rifles before and
A shotgun?
22s.
Yeah.
Like nothing that's going to bite back.
Yeah, but it's the same, like aiming, aim, trigger control. I mean, still same, like, along the same lines of execution as far as releasing an accurate shot or shooting an accurate shot. So whatever it was, it translated over to you in the bow today. And you were great. We got you dialed in out there at a little longer distance at the new bow rack range, which was cool. Wayne did what he does best, and that's instruct people.
Great teacher.
Yeah, he is the best. And the bow rack, man, it's been kicking ass lately. It's a little remodel, little expansion. So that's fun. And then we ran Pisgah. What'd you think of Pisgah?
It's tough. It was tough. We actually got to walk a little bit.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad. It's like, oh, this is a lung burner. But yeah, I was glad I didn't have to carry a rock. But I think a few laps.
You picked up the rock?
I moved it around a little bit.
Yeah. How did it feel?
Heavy. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just tell Andrew, because Huberman was trying to say you need to carry the rock up, and all you got to do is move it around a little bit. He's giving you some coaching advice, forgetting that it's like almost your same body weight. So yeah,
that would have been a tough ask.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a special guest with us, Joe Nail, today. He's doing this incredible event across the country, essentially in all 50 states, and it's to help veterans. And so yeah, we had him join us on the way up. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, what a neat project.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge ask of your body, but I think when you have a bigger purpose like he does and what he's doing it for, you'll find a way to get it done.
Yeah, what a great guy. I saw him at the track meet last night. He said he was doing it. I'm like, yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get we'll get you in. So I told him when we were heading over to Pisgah, and he showed up, and it was great. But yeah, beautiful day. We did the summit, did a big loop around the bottom, got in some good miles. But yeah, I was sweating my ass off. I know that. It got kind of warm out there. Yeah. But yeah, it was such an honor running with you. And then we came here and we just threw some weights around. So you started your weight training program.
I can't even pick up the coffee cup because I'm still like shaky.
Really? No. You did great.
It just is good. It's a friendly reminder to start lifting more weights.
Yeah. Do you ever look at, is body weight ever part of your concern? Like for nutrition, or know where you're at? How do you keep track of that?
I don't really keep a close eye on it. I think the concern is always being too light.
Yeah. Too light.
Too light. I'll get into training 120-mile weeks when I'm at my peak, back in the past. And if I make a decision like, hey, I think I'll cut out beer for this build up, like all of a sudden I'll be 92, 94, and it's just too light.
What happens when you're too light?
You just lose energy.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah. So you just need a little bit more muscle to hold fuel, kind of. Is that what you think?
Could be it.
Yeah.
Could be it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, now you're going to have more muscle from lifting. So,
got a plan.
Yeah, you might.
Solved it here.
You might not even hit your peak yet.
Yeah, that's right. Masters records for sure. They're going to be mine.
You're going to get up to 100 pounds and have all this fuel in your muscles. How
if
about
not,
that?
I'll at least have muscles, so I'll look a little bit better.
You look shredded. Well, Des, thank you for I know you're supposed to fly home today, but you extended out so we could do the lift, run, shoot. All I wanted to do was get you a new bow. So we got that checked off the list, but then also the bonus was being able to run with you. It was just a great day. I love being able to sit down and talk and hear some behind the scenes on some of these stories. And I love what you're doing with Kara. And now, you can be shooting arrows with Ryan in your backyard.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me out. It was an awesome day.
Yeah, this was a win for me for sure. And so as we always enter in the podcast right here, this is Des's new bow. It's a Keep Hammering Edition Cobalt from Hoyt. And it's in Origin camo. Have you seen this camo before? So
I have.
Origin, yeah. That's
Love it.
Jocko and Pete at Origin, their brainchild. Awesome looking camo. And now it's on your bow.
Love it. I have a pair of Origin shorts. Wear them while I shoot.
Nice. Okay, we'll do it. You got to post a picture of that.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it.
We'll make it happen.
All right, Des. Well, thank you for staying, and thank you for the great discussion and the time spent on the trail.
My pleasure.
All right, keep hammering.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use. Every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom. I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with. Giving my blood, so I am relentless. My fault. They want someone to blame. They send their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the fuel in dirt. Feeling like Cam Haynes. Oh.